What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Wombo Combo Show. My name's Ben Kepler.
I'm Ben Yukonis.
Guys, we're here. It's the getting close to at least the end of the season here coming up.
Yeah.
And
we're in the divisional round.
That's right. We got some playoff football to talk with you guys about. Again, if you didn't hear through any of our posts or anything like that, at 8 o'clock, so in an hour here, we're going to host a live, way too early mock draft. So make sure you tune in for that.
I'm down.
Way too early. Yeah.
I'm down for it.
What we're going to do is we're going to have you guys pick a team. So if you're a fan of, say, the Dolphins, you can join in, be a Dolphins GM for that hour, and take over. Tell us what you think your team should take in this draft. So that'll be super fun. Mike, I see that you see my Taylor jersey, and I appreciate that, brother. He's my favorite. Make sure you join in later, Mike. Pick a team so you can join in and be the GM for your team this week. Guys, let's jump into some coverage for some games here. Ben, we had some not so exciting football this weekend.
No, not really.
I can't say that
unless
it was.
you like. There was some good defense.
There was some good defense. The only exciting game, really, in my opinion, tell me if you think I'm wrong, or if you think I'm wrong, rather, that the Commanders and Buccaneers game was the most exciting game of the entire weekend. Yeah?
Yeah.
I feel like it really was. Let's start and jump into some of these games here, Ben. I know that you told me to save the Steelers for last because you've got some words you'd like to get out of your chest, off your chest there. Yeah. So first, let's hop into the Chargers game. This game, I think we had the watch party during a portion of this, and I think what we realized and what the most terrible thing was is that Justin Herbert fell apart.
Yeah, he did not look good at all.
He crumbled.
He hasn't looked good in the playoffs.
Yeah, he doesn't have a good playoff record, and I'll tell you this.
What, he's 0-3?
0-3, yeah. That's about as bad as it can possibly be for you, right?
Yeah, I mean.
The thing is that I wanted to mention is as we were watching that, the Chargers came out and they looked decent and they had a 6-0 lead.
Yeah.
And then we got to like 2 minutes before halftime, guys, and it was Texans from there on out.
Texans just took over the game.
They took the lead to go into the half, and from that point on, they never gave up that lead. Just a couple stats in this game to kind of see how it broke down. Justin Herbert under 500 on his passing percentage. He was 14 to 32, 242 yards, 4 interceptions. Here? What did I say?
He said under 500.
Well, he technically is under, but whatever. He's less than 50%.
He's batting for 500.
He's batting 500.
If that's the case, if he was 14 for 32 in baseball, that's pretty damn good.
That would be all right.
No, hitting 500 in baseball is great.
Really?
Yes.
Oh, well. I hate baseball. So,
it's under 50%.
Is good? Is that good? I don't know baseball.
No. Well, okay, so hitting 500 in baseball is like hitting 50% of your at-bats.
Yeah, so it's really good.
That is very good
in
baseball.
Well, Justin Herbert, take your stats over to baseball. Maybe they'll be better. C.J. Stroud, he had a decent game. I mean, and I'm not going to say that it was an amazing game. He was 22 of 33. He had 282 yards, a touchdown, and an interception, but it wasn't anything spectacular in my mind. I didn't really get shown that he is he's going to be, rather, a really good playoff quarterback this year. We'll see what happens in years to come. He plays the Chiefs this week, but it wasn't overly impressive in my opinion.
He's still looking like he's in his sophomore slump type deal. He played good enough to help them win the game.
They need better offensive line, to be completely honest.
Yeah, they do. They need some help up front.
One guy I wanted to note, he got overshadowed because his team lost, but Ladd McConkey had himself a day.
Yeah.
He blew up in this football game. 9 catches, 197 yards, and a touchdown. Had a long streaking touchdown in this football game, which was their only touchdown for the Chargers. So, Ladd, way to show up, brother, but unfortunately it wasn't enough to get the Chargers to win in this one, especially when your quarterback's throwing 4 picks in the game.
Yep.
So, Nico Collins also had a good game, 7 receptions, 122 yards, and a touchdown.
Joe Mixon
as well.
25 carries, over 100 yards, and a touchdown.
So Joe Mixon showed
the
up.
Running game going.
He had been slow.
That's always going to kill a team.
He had been slow. Slow Joe had been not doing very much the last couple of weeks. He had been dampered down, and now playoffs came around, and he was used a lot and was pretty good with his carries. Next game we're going to talk about we're going to skip that other Saturday game, leave that for the end for you, for the Steelers and Ravens. But the next game I wanted to talk about was the Broncos and the Bills. Now, what I had said Saturday coming into this game before it happened Sunday morning was that I thought the Broncos had a chance to go into Buffalo and really be a surprise because they have a fresh team. You know, they're all rookies. They're younger. That fatigue over the season hits them less because they don't have as many older 30-year-old players as a lot of the other NFL teams do.
Well, that's not necessarily the case because the rookie wall.
What do you?
Because in college you don't play 18, 19 games.
I still don't know what you're saying.
So rookies tend to hit a wall of fatigue faster than veterans.
Oh, well, they didn't seem to up until this game, at least.
Up until this point. They were playing well.
One thing I wanted to note that did happen in this game, it's a first ever in the NFL. It has never happened before. A rookie threw a touchdown pass to a rookie wide receiver. That has never happened before.
It's a bottle of water.
Ever.
I don't understand that, but okay.
Oh, I wasn't paying attention.
Yeah.
But have you ever, did you realize that was going to be like a stat that would stay out this long? A rookie quarterback has never thrown to a rookie wide receiver in a playoff game before.
For a touchdown?
For a touchdown, yes. Until Sunday with the Broncos.
I did not know that.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
So Bo Nix to his college player, Franklin. That was the touchdown we're talking about. Cortland Sutton had an okay game. I mean, they really got bottled up after their first drive. They had their good first drive. They scored a touchdown. From then on, Buffalo kind of took over. Cortland, 5 catches, 75 yards. Then if you look at the other side of the field, they kind of dominated. It was a dominating performance, to be completely honest.
After the first punch Denver threw, it was all Bills after that. So
Josh only had 6 incompletions in this game. 272 yards. He threw for 2 touchdowns. James Cook had a great game. He had 120 yards and a touchdown. And then this is something kind of crazy. I didn't know you could bet on this, but DraftKings is doing this thing where you bet each game who will score the longest touchdown. Okay.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
I don't use DraftKings, so I hadn't, and they were telling me about this at work. So Curtis Samuel ended up getting the longest touchdown in this game, and let me tell you a little bit about this on DraftKings, or maybe it was FanDuel. I don't remember which one it is, but only like 400 people in the world bet that it would be Curtis Samuel who got the longest one.
Yeah.
They all won $13,000 a piece. How crazy is that?
That's
so
wild.
if you were one of those people, congratulations to you.
That's
Bills
wild.
move on. I don't really love the Bills' next matchup. We'll talk about that in a little bit. We're going to dump into this next game here. That was the Packers and Eagles. Man, the Packers fell like flies.
I mean, this is kind of how I felt the way the game was going to go.
I kind of thought after the game in Brazil, and you and I did have separate opinions on this, but I thought that this game would not only be close, but I thought Jordan Love would have a decent game and Josh Jacobs would be a huge factor in this game, and he really wasn't.
I mean, he was their best player.
He was their best player, but when you only score 10 points, your best player could be the worst player on the other team.
I understand that. But.
What we did see, though, is the Packers lost like 6 players in this football game.
Really?
Yes, they just kept getting injured left and right. That obviously plays into the morale of the team as you're going along, watching, the starting guard go down, wide receivers go down.
Yeah,
they lost Romeo Dubes.
I didn't really
in
get
this
to
game.
see any of this game.
Oh, okay.
I was just kind of keeping track of like the scores on Sunday.
Yeah,
and just,
Romeo Dubes hit his head in this game. He got a concussion while wearing a one of those Guardian caps as well.
Caps.
So that's not a good look. Romeo, we are thinking of you, man. I hope you get healed up here in the offseason and come back quick and better than you were when you left. Josh had 18 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown. Now, I was saying that he would be a big factor. Ben did note that he was the best player in this game for the Packers. Jordan Love, though, 3 interceptions, 212 yards. Did not look great in this game. Jaden Reed was their top wide receiver with 46 yards. It was a really down day for the Packers offense. Their defense tried their hardest for most of the game, but inevitably it kind of fell apart. On the other side of the football, something that I do want to mention, that Jalen Hurts did come back in this game, but looked astronomically rusty. Yeah. He looked super rusty in this football game, guys. Did get it done. Goddard got a touchdown. He threw another touchdown at the beginning of the football game to Jahan Dotson, his first of his playoff career. So was there highlights in this? Absolutely, but there also was some lowlights. Obviously, Jalen Hurts coming off that rust. I've talked to a lot of Eagles fans. They think that they expected it, and they'll see improvement over the next week now that he's back in. I think so too. One crazy thing about this game, and you've never seen this before in your life. A.J. Brown was on the sideline reading a self-help book during the game.
I know. I've seen the memes.
As a teammate, let me ask you this. As a teammate, if you've seen another one of your teammates doing that, would that be a positive or negative distraction for you?
I don't know, because I only played till high school, and you didn't have anything else on you other than like your gear.
I was going to say,
maybe
along
like an
those
iPad,
lines, like
iPhone.
Olympic athletes and stuff, they all do stuff like that. Like they're in the zone big time. Like I bet if you talk to Tom Brady, he'd be the same way. He'd be saying like, "Oh yeah, like I'm locked in on this and that." Like especially like
100%.
swimming and stuff. I know that people used to do that all the time. They put their headphones in and like towel over their head, sit on the sidelines, and yeah.
Was it a distraction for you, Paul? I don't think it would bother me, to be completely honest. I'm in my own zone. You know what I mean?
Yeah, if anything, I think like that dude's locked in. Like if
for
you're willing
sure.
to go that far. And I don't know. I think that's a little bit of a mind gamey thing. Like maybe like you should be able to do without that, but like the same rate, just like another thing to add to your toolkit. I don't see why not.
Yeah, 100%.
Or it's the complete opposite, and he's just annoyed with the offense and not getting the ball.
Possibly.
So
We'll have to see how that comes to fruition and what that matures into.
AJ Brown has known, like especially with the Eagles, has been known to be kind of a
Temper tantrum
sour
kind of guy.
puss.
Yeah, I'll say, I actually wanted to say one more thing too. I would rather have like GP reading a book on the sidelines and figuring out how to handle his own emotions than acting like a clown. So maybe we can get him a
100%.
self-help book.
Yeah.
Yeah, he needs to take a page out of A.J. Brown's book, we'll say. That is 100% for sure. Yeah, for me, I honestly wouldn't find it a distraction. I would think that he's just that guy on my team, on my bench, that you don't go over and talk to. Just let him do his thing.
Just leave him alone.
That's kind of how I feel about that one. Like I said, Eagles progress. They're going to take on one of the teams we're going to talk about next here. They won't be taking on a divisional foe. This is the next game we're going to talk about, the best game, I think, of the weekend. I was live for this game, and I'm not trying to toot my own horn, but before the game, I know that a bunch of our viewers were with me. I said that Jaden Daniels would lead them down the field, and they would score in the final minute to win the football game. And that's exactly what happened. So, I mean, they didn't score a touchdown, which is what I said. So let me put a mark on that and an asterisk. I said it was going to be a touchdown. It was a field goal. It was a doink at that. It doinked off of the upright when it went through.
Oh, really?
The field goal kick. So I was close, but not the full cigar. Jaden Daniels, great game in this one. 2 touchdowns, 268 yards, ran 13 times for 36 yards. Big wide receiver on the Commanders is my favorite Madden wide receiver to get for cheap if you're trading and doing franchise mode. That's De'Ami Brown. De'Ami Brown had 5 catches for 89 yards and a touchdown. A pretty decent game for a guy who is not usually utilized in the offense that much. Opposite side of the ball. Never used. Baker Mayfield, very accurate in this football game. They didn't throw a ton. He only threw 18 times. 15 of those were completions. Bucky Irving, no touchdowns in this football game. There was a good portion of this football game, if you watched, that Bucky was not utilized. They kind of took him out, let him rest. They were seeing that they were using him too much, and he wasn't getting the ball down the field. He came back kind of towards the end of the half, and then third quarter, started getting the carries again. Unfortunately, it was a little bit too late for the Buccaneers. Weren't able to get the W in this one. Mike Evans, we were talking about this on Saturday. I was looking forward to seeing him and Marshawn Lattimore go up against each other. And guess who won that battle? Mike Evans. He absolutely made Marshawn Lattimore look old. 7 catches, 92 yards, and a touchdown.
Mike Evans normally wins that battle. Anyways.
He does. He does. To put another asterisk on it, he normally does win that battle. Normally, if Marshawn is to win that battle, it is because of chirping, and he gets in his head.
Well, I mean, even after the chirping, when it kind of gets a little physical, Mike Evans has gotten the best of him.
True. When you're talking about the Tom Brady situation specifically. Yeah, I remember that. And yes, Mike Evans did dog him in that situation.
Yeah, that was wild.
Let's check out this next game. Congratulations to Commanders for getting your first playoff win in like a bajillion years. Happy for you guys.
Yep.
Next round's going to be a little difficult. We'll talk about that in a second. Ben, your team, you called it. You're like the only person.
They showed up.
You're the only person who called this. This was the Rams and the Vikings. Did you catch this whole game? I know you were working at the bar.
Yeah, I was bartending, but I mean, the game was on. I was paying attention to
This was a wild one, guys. The Rams defense showed up in a way that they haven't showed up since their big man retired.
Dude, they had like
8 sacks.
I think they had 8 or 9 sacks.
Did they end up with 9? Because I know they had 8. The final play, Sam Darnold got sacked, or final drive, Sam Darnold got sacked. There was 8. It could have been 9, and I could have gotten into the comments and stopped paying attention.
Still, like
it was a blowout.
A boatload of sacks.
Yes. Sam, the one thing that we were talking about in the live watch last night, Ben, and I don't know if you noticed this in the game, but Sam Darnold was doing a lot of this.
Yeah.
He ball taps, dude. He sits there and taps the ball in the pocket and doesn't do anything with it over and over again. And we literally were in chat like, dude, do you think the game is over? He's in the locker room still just holding the football and tapping it. Sam, holding the ball for like 7 seconds a play is not a good look, buddy.
He looked like the Sam Darnold of old.
Yep. Seeing ghosts.
Yeah.
I actually told a story last night of you.
Oh, yeah?
Yep. The Sam Darnold story where Ben had the victory, just thought he'd snag some more fantasy points, and it ended up giving him the loss because Sam threw 4 interceptions. This one, he didn't throw a lot of interceptions.
No.
He had a fumble, though.
Did have a fumble.
It got returned for a touchdown.
Yeah, I watched that. I watched that one.
It wasn't the greatest. The best play probably out of the entire game for the Vikings was T.J. Hawkinson. He caught a pass that should have been about a 5-yard gain. He turned it into about a 27-yard touchdown run. So we'll have to make note of that. T.J. Hawkinson, great play, dude. That was awesome. Way to make something out of nothing. Malik Neighbors when he played against the Colts. You know what I mean? When he made all those plays against the Colts and torched the Colts.
Yeah.
Another thing that I did want to mention in this football game, Kyron Williams, no rushing touchdowns, but if you did bet on that, he did get a passing touchdown, 6-yard passing touchdown. It was the first one of the game. And the biggest oof of the game, I'm going to give to Jordan Addison. I don't know if you noticed this, but my man Jordan Addison had a lot of drops last night.
He did.
Crucial ones, too. It might not have been a lot, but they were very crucial moments for very big yard gains. Justin Jefferson cooled off last night. He was covered pretty well, but also if Sam doesn't get the ball out, how can Justin do well? He was 5 catches, 58 yards. Only touchdown scorer, again, was TJ. Mm-hmm. Other side of the football, Kyron, I already mentioned, had that touchdown. They threw a little dump down to the tight end, Davis Allen. Yeah, I could get it out eventually.
I mean, is the 3rd string tight end.
Yeah,
so...
he's behind Colby Parkinson, I believe.
So...
wouldn't be someone that I would have bet on, to be completely honest with you. Tyler Higbee had a good game coming back. Remember, the last time you seen Tyler Higbee in a playoff game was against the Detroit Lions. Got his knee blown up.
Yeah.
By Kirby Joseph. Yep. So I'm glad to see Tyler Higbee back in. Now, a note on that, Tyler Higbee had a chest injury during the game and was taken to the hospital during the football game. Yes.
I did not know that.
Yes. Sean McVay said he is going to be all right. We're going to monitor that for you guys. If you're taking any bets here coming into the next week, Tyler Higbee's a big name to be betting on and looking at. So we'll let you know the status of his health as the week goes on. But other than that, the Rams roll. They absolutely crushed.
Cooper Kupp is still dudding out.
Yeah, he had that one catch for 29 yards in the 3rd quarter, and that was like his whole game.
Yeah, that was it.
So now let's dive into the game that you told me to save for the creme de la creme, the end of the end. The Pittsburgh Stinky Steelers versus the Ratbirds Baltimore Ravens down in Baltimore.
This team had everyone fooled month and a half ago, sitting at 10-3, top of the AFC North. Looking like world beaters. Well, not necessarily world beaters, but looking better than what
contenders.
They looked like contenders. They looked like legit contenders, you know? And it's just...
Tell me.
It's the same BS
every year.
I agree. It's either we're always in it and we just make the playoffs, or we just miss the playoffs, because we have missed the playoffs. What?
Twice.
Three times in the last 6-7 years, something like that. And we're 0-6 in the playoffs since 2016 was our last playoff.
Since we beat the Miami Dolphins when they had backup quarterback.
No, it was the Chiefs.
Oh, the Chiefs. That's right, the Chiefs game. Thank you for correcting me. Yes.
And then we ended up losing the Patriots in the AFC Championship.
That's right, yes.
But it's to me, man, it comes down to coaching.
I hear a hot take coming in.
It's the coaching. I'm tired of Tomlin, and he's buggy-eyed at these conferences going, we can't live in our fears, we don't live in our fears, blah, 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 blah. This team does nothing but live in their fears. I almost dropped one. I wanted to drop it so hard, dude.
He's getting hot, folks. The pan is sizzling.
They're living in their fears, man. Their defense, actually, well, first of all, for this game, they didn't even show up.
No.
It's not like they quit. They couldn't. You can't quit when you don't show up, and nobody showed up for this game.
Except
absolutely
for the third quarter.
no one.
The
And
third
even
quarter.
then, yeah,
That was
but
it.
like nothing. You know, Minka getting punched into the dirt was
That was
embarrassing.
Embarrassing.
TJ Watt just going for the running back on every RPO. Embarrassing. Like,
it
dude,
was.
it's like you got to play both.
I got a
in
stat
that
for
situation.
you. I got a stat for
Or
you.
have
TJ.
have someone else be watching Lamar. Just, you know,
It has to be a spy. There has to be
some type of spy on that. And there wasn't any game plan for it. I think Mike Tomlin's got to go.
I
think he's got
to.
to. I think he's got to go. And like I've had people be like, "Oh, there's other smaller issues," but it always, you know, we've had smaller issues and we've done better. I think our biggest issue is our head coach.
Could possibly be. I wanted to add this little note in, and I'll give you my opinion on that. Did you know that TJ Watt has not put up a single defensive stat in like 4 or 5 games?
Yeah,
He doesn't have a tackle. He doesn't have a sack.
Nothing.
He doesn't have a pressure. He has nothing.
yeah, nothing.
So there is that, and we do know that if TJ Watt doesn't get going, the Steelers don't win football games. Now, is that an excuse? Absolutely, it is not. There are 10 other guys playing on the football field at the same time as TJ Watt who can do the same exact thing as him. Now, let me add in, when you have a running back who only gets 17 yards in the entire football game, that is not going to get you anywhere.
No. This is why we did. This is why they did not give him this 5th year option.
That
so
is
what?
exactly right.
What? He's run for 4,000. He's run for 1,000 yards in the 4 seasons we had him.
He's slow.
What is the quality of those 1,000 yard seasons?
How many carries?
Yeah. How many important runs did he actually have?
100%. You and I don't always agree on everything, but I will tell you right there, I agree with that statement to the fullest. I think Najee Harris is out the door. Now, for the Steelers, another thing to keep in mind is that Jaylen Warren, the other running back, is not under contract right now. I think when we get to the offseason, we're going to see Najee Harris take a walk down to maybe San Francisco, where he's from. He could go there while CMC is on the men, play there, and you're going to see Jaylen Warren and a rookie or another veteran come in for the Pittsburgh Steelers next season. It's not going to be Cordell Patterson, I promise you that.
No. If we keep Cordell Patterson, I'm going to pull my hair out.
Only if he's a kick returner, because I'll give him his flowers at kick returning, but that's about it. Another one, you have the hot take of getting rid of Tomlin. Now, we both know it's probably not going to happen.
No, it's in his contract. He has a no trade clause.
He's not going anywhere.
But I mean, if
I'm okay. To open it up, I'm okay with Tomlin.
man, because it's losing. It's lost its luster. The spark is gone.
You have points.
The relationship is dead. It's time to move on.
My thing is this: do you think that he loses the locker room after they get on a winning streak somehow because he has too much fun as a player's coach? Does that make sense to you? Do you think that's a possibility? Because I really believe that he becomes too buddy at a certain point in the season.
Too much fraternizing.
Yeah, he lets loose.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. I think that's what it is.
I mean, a little fraternizing is good,
but not
because you want to have relationship with the players and everything like that. That's a good thing. But whenever they start seeing you as Mr. Buddy,
yeah,
and not
when
Mr.
you're
head coach,
yeah, when you're Unk,
yeah, when they start calling you Unk,
yeah, no,
it's like, man, I don't want to speak for that locker room because I'm not there.
I hear you.
I'm not going to. But it's just at the same time, it's just everything points to Mike Tomlin not being. It's everything. He's not competent in clock management. He's not competent in calling challenges. And he's living in these fears with this offense that he does control to a certain extent. He tells Arthur Smith, "Hey, this is the game plan. Just don't turn the ball over. Don't turn the ball over.
They do play safe. I agree with you there.
Play safe. Don't turn the ball over. Don't throw the ball over the middle of the field. Just don't do these things that all these NFL offenses are doing now to win games. And it's just we're trying to play football like it's 2005.
No, 100%. I agree with that. You know, it's one of you had like you listed off the things you don't like about Tomlin. I'll tell you one thing. I am, as much as I am for him staying, I do agree with you that the management of timeouts and the management of challenges is very bad. One that you missed, and I want to hear if you think that you agree with me on this, his management of when to go for it on 4th down or not.
Oh yeah, that's absolutely horrible.
Isn't that?
Yeah,
that
it's
one's
so
the one
bad.
that gets me.
Like we had a 4th and 1 in this game, right? And we punted on it,
and we punted
like
from the 32-yard line or something.
I forget what point of the game exactly.
Third quarter.
Yeah, okay. So when it's time to go for it, get back in the game.
Yes.
Like, what?
Yes.
It's just...
I hear you, Ben. I hear you, Ben. If it was me, my hot take for this is I think that we keep Mike Tomlin. I think we keep Arthur Smith as well. I know a lot of people are going to hate that idea. I think that we get rid of Terrell Austin. That's our defensive coordinator. I think he kicks rocks. And then I also think, and this is my hottest of hot takes, producer Paul, I want your take on this too. I want to trade George Pickens for another 1st and maybe 5th round pick and go get a different wide receiver completely. I don't want him on the team anymore.
I'm ready to trade Minkah too.
Minkah could probably go because of his age, but I just don't think George Pickens is the future of the Pittsburgh Steelers, and keeping him around next year is just going to cause the same outbursts, the same, just trash talk. And I'll have one more thing to say on this, and I want Paul for you to punch in on this. If you look at when AB was acting up, okay? What did AB have at that point in time? He was a 7-time Pro Bowler. He had 1,400-yard seasons.
Yeah.
He was in the top 3 for most catches in a season. He led the league in touchdowns year over year, okay?
And yards.
This is a guy, George Pickens, who has 1,000-yard season, has played in the league 3 years, and is acting like he is Randy Moss. Paul, what do you think, man?
Well, I was say I'm worried that he's devalued himself in trade value.
Good
which
point.
is a problem for us, just because of how wacky he is, especially with how beat the Raiders got with Antonio when they took his crazy after we got rid of him.
That was a 3rd round pick.
Teams have gotten burned by these crazy guys pretty often. I'm trying to think of some other ones. Who's the Miami running back? Didn't he get traded and he kind of burned the next team? And
yeah, Ricky Williams did that once. I mean, you also have guys like another Steelers, for instance, Chase Claypool, who we traded for a 1st round pick to the Bears, and early 2nd round pick to the Bears.
That was a steal.
And he didn't even play more than like 20 snaps.
Yeah,
for
we
them.
did great in that one. But that's my concern, is that him being as crazy as he has devalued him to the point where we might not be getting that 1st you're talking about. And I still think we're still going to get good stuff for him, but.
Yeah, I think that, Paul, you bring up a valid point on that. His attitude does kind of take him, even though he is a 1st round trade player, 1st round and some change, to be honest. He is for the right team. You trade him over to the Chiefs for a 1st round pick, which would be probably like 26 at earliest right now, right? You trade him over there. I mean, he's going to do well with Patrick Mahomes. He's going to shut his mouth, and they're going to get the value that they want because it's a low-end 1st round pick.
See, I don't. If they do trade George Pickens, I don't see us getting a 1st.
You don't?
No.
Do you see?
Because when we traded AB, we got a 3rd and a 5th.
We did, but AB was 29 years old.
Understand, he was still the best wide receiver in the game.
He was. You have a very valid point.
If he would have kept his head on his shoulders, he probably would have been the best wide receiver in the game for another 3 years.
So what's your value on Pickens? Is that a 2nd and a 5th?
I think we kind of get some. If we do trade him, it's probably something similar like that.
2nd and a 5th.
Yeah,
okay.
2nd and 5th,
and like a mid 2nd though, not a late 2nd.
I mean,
for me, I think.
Team, but it's just I don't see us getting a 1st for George Pickens.
Okay. Well, that was our Steeler talk for today. Obviously, you seen Ben get more passionate than you seen him get in a minute. He's not too happy about
I took
the
off
Pittsburgh
my
Steelers.
jersey in the middle of the game.
You did take off your jersey in the middle of the game.
It was after the long touchdown run.
Yeah, by Derrick Henry, down the middle.
Yeah, it's like this is over. It's done.
Yeah, that was. If you want to see something embarrassing, we'll make a clip of this. Take a look at these plays right here where Derrick Henry absolutely destroys our team, our hopes, and our season.
Yeah.
Enjoy. Clip that. All right, we're going to move into the next segment, and that segment is going to be what is to come for the rest of this playoffs.
Yeah.
Ben, your team and my team, our NFC teams, they're both still in it, so we both have something to look forward to. And once again, I have come up with the same problem as the wild card round. My buddy Jaden Daniels, who took me to the championship, who I am a huge fan of, now once again plays another team that I really like, and that is the Detroit Lions. Let's first jump into the Texans game before we get a little bit crazy about all of the games. I do want to remind you guys, we will be live for these. Saturday, we're going to show you these games. We'll be live for them, watch party style like we've been doing on Saturday. I love hanging out with you guys. So join for these ones. Texans, we're going to hope you take down the Chiefs. God, please help us. Help us.
Man, and I want to take the Texans. I want to say that Texans can go into Kansas City and beat them.
I know.
Well, like I've been doing this all year.
I want to look at the weather. Go ahead.
I can't pick against the Chiefs this year.
Yeah.
It's just when it has to be something really. Either the Texans just have to come out and dominate from the beginning, and that's really the only way they're gonna win this game. They're not gonna win a close one, because if it's a close one, there's gonna be some type of flag that goes for the Chiefs and against the Texans, and it puts them in field goal range, or it gives them a 1st and goal, or it does something like that.
You're not wrong.
That's how this game. If it's close, that's how it's gonna go. Or the Chiefs are just gonna boat road the Texans.
Yeah.
So boat race.
Boat race.
The
I was going to
Texans.
say, I don't know what boat.
Yeah, I know. Boat. That doesn't make any sense.
All right.
But
no, I
yeah,
can see your
it's
point.
just-
Let me tell you this is what I think could possibly happen. While you were saying that, I looked up the weather for Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's going to be 27 degrees, a low of 11. So we're somewhere in between that, below freezing weather.
This game's at 4:30. Mm-hmm. It will be below freezing. It's not the coldest it's ever been in Kansas City.
It's windy. Here's the thing, though. It's really windy in Kansas City. So as much as it's cold, it's going to feel like negative, like 6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because of that wind chill. What I think the strategy is, I wanted to bring up your point that you told me before the show. The Houston Texans have never played a game, a playoff game, other than on a Saturday, you told me before the show. Yep. How crazy is that, guys?
Yep. And it's always been the 3-4 o'clock window.
Yeah, it's so weird. Guys, if you're Texans fans, tell me, do you hate that? I would hate that. Kinda. I think that Sunday is meant for football. Anyways, what I think, Ben, could be the thing that really gets the Texans a chance in this football game is they have to play. I know a lot of kids in Madden do this. They got to play the chew clock strategy. And what does that mean? That means Joe Mixon's going to be running the football 30 times in this football game. In my opinion, they need to, gain the lead off the bat. So Texans win the toss, let's say, theoretically. They need to score opening up the touchdown. Now they have that lead the rest of the game. After they get that ball back, they stop the Chiefs on the first drive. The rest of the game is putz that clock down. Yeah. Keep Patrick Mahomes off the field. Yeah. Do not try to get more than 4 yards.
Methodic drives, running the ball with Joe Mixon.
4 yards a play. That's what you need the whole way down the field. 13 to 16 plays, 4 yards each time you get something going.
Yep.
That's how I feel. The Texans have their only chance to win this is to keep Pat off the field.
Yes.
You agree with me?
Yep. But
that's the only way.
It's just, and the problem is that the Chiefs' defense
is good.
It
is. It is good.
And I feel like it's been kind of underrated all year.
They're like top 5 defense.
Yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I
Just
take
not
that.
fantasy.
I take
fantasy,
that. Okay, yeah, fantasy buys they weren't.
Yeah, they're not flashy in fantasy.
So
IRL they are.
Yeah. But because I know they can stop the run.
Mm-hmm.
And then
they're pretty good
corner wise, they got McDuffie, who's been one hell of a corner.
Steelers could have drafted him. They didn't. They took Kenny Pickett instead.
Yeah.
Trent McDuffie would have been cooler. One thing I think that you'll see a lot of out of the Texans defense, though, is they are going to be able to pressure the Patrick Mahomes. So
you would think so.
I think that could be a big play on this. You got Danielle Hunter. You've got
Will Anderson Jr.
Will Anderson Jr.
That's a good DN duo.
It is.
That's a good edge rushing duo.
It is. You got Stingley in the backfield. You've got O2 and friends back there. They're not bad on defense. Who's that?
Shazier.
No,
Or,
what? Al Shazier.
Shazier.
Yeah. He got injured in the last game. We'll have to check on
Again?
him. Yeah, his wrist. Yeah. We'll have to check on that. But yeah, this game could be close. The Houston Texans do have pieces to make this a game, but there is a strategy behind how they can win this game, and I think it's the only way they can win the game. Ben, let's jump into that next Saturday game. This one, I've kind of been talking. I went as a live guest on a couple other people's shows this morning talking about this game. I think that the outcome of this game is as follows. I think it's a high-scoring game. I think that the Commanders do not struggle very much, but they do struggle. I think that the game happens like this. The Commanders' defense is able to stop the Detroit Lions on 2 or 3 possessions. Okay? The Commanders' defense, the Detroit's defense is able to stop the Commanders' defense 2 to 3 more times than that. And the Commanders end up losing by either 6 to 10 points.
Yeah.
That's how I feel it goes. I think it's going to be high scoring. I would take over in this one. I would take the over in this one. I think that the spread, I would take somewhere in 6 to 10 range. I like this game for the Commanders. It could be sneaky for them, but I do think Detroit's offense and the repairing defense that's getting guys back is just going to be too much for them. Ben, what do you think?
I agree, but I think the Lions are going to make it easier than your.
You think they're going to make it look like more of a cakewalk than?
Yeah, I think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to have a day.
I could see that. Do you think Monty plays? He's
even if he does,
reported to probably play. It's a probability that he plays.
So even if he does, I still think Jahmyr Gibbs
eats. Yep, I could see that. I could 100% see that. Another thing to remember is the weakness on the Commanders is their backfield. They don't have the strongest backfield, even with adding Marshawn Lattimore in that trade.
Yeah,
it did not make a huge difference for them. Marshawn Lattimore kind of getting a little bit beat.
Yeah.
So there is that. Is there any other factors in this game that you see playing major factors in it?
Amon-Ra.
That's who I would.
I mean, it's just the normal guys to expect to do well are going to do well, and I think the Lions kind of take this one probably like
34-20,
34-17.
Okay, 34-17.
You know, Commanders make it kind of interesting, but never get really close.
Okay, if it's like you're saying, I would say maybe like you said, 34-20, 34-17. If it goes the route that I'm thinking, I'm saying maybe like 34-28. So like still like pretty high scoring, you know. One thing I did want to ask you, Ben, if you were going to take a look at some skill players on the Commanders outside of obviously Jaden Daniels, their quarterback, Scary Terry's probably the guy that you would most likely be betting on. Do you see Scary Terry going over or under maybe say 70 yards in this game? Do you think he's shut down, or do you think he's opened up and can do things? He's a reason.
I'm gonna say he goes under.
You're gonna say he's like he underperforms in this football game. He gets bottled up by the Detroit defense.
Yeah.
Okay, and that could be a major factor why the Lions end up winning the game. That could be something that comes out. That could be a scenario that plays out. I like that. We're both taking the Lions, I think, in this one, right?
Yeah, I'm taking the Lions.
In the last game, did we pick? Are you taking the Chiefs? I know you gave the speech.
I'm taking the Chiefs.
I think I'm going to take the Texans just to be against you in that one because I don't want the Chiefs to win. I'm tired of the commercials. I don't want to fumble Ruski anymore, and I don't use State Farm. So, but yeah, it just seems like the Lions. Now, that doesn't mean that the Commanders aren't a great team. I think that next year they're going to have a completely different team and be even better, but I just don't think they're built to beat the Detroit Lions in this football game at home for Detroit.
Yeah.
Just doesn't seem likely. Next game we're going to talk about, Ben, I want a lot of your input on this one because this is your team. They're still in it, baby.
LA Rams.
Do you think the Rams have a chance, man? Do they?
Against the Eagles. They do, man. That defense looks good.
Okay. You think it's the defense that wins them the football game?
I think their defense will give Hurts all kinds of problems trying to throw the ball.
Okay.
And I
agree.
I think they can slow down Barkley just enough.
Okay.
To not let him completely, take over the game.
High hopes.
And I feel that the offense can obviously outscore Philly.
Okay.
I think Puka Nacua is going to have a bigger day.
That's I think too. I think Cooper Kupp doesn't do anything.
Yeah.
I think Kyron Williams gets shut down a little bit. How do you feel about that?
I don't know, man.
Eagles defense, man.
Yeah, I still like Kyron Williams though a lot.
Okay.
I like both running backs to actually do.
Yeah, these
decent.
are some great running backs in this football game. This could be a running and defense game. Could be.
Or it could be a shootout.
Yeah. If Jalen isn't, completely.
Or the Rams will just dominate the Eagles.
I don't know about that one.
I'm
not going to lie to you, Ben. I'm going to take the complete opposite take. I think that I think that the Eagles defense is able to. So one of the things that we know about Matt Stafford is once you get him hot, once he's throwing the ball, he stays that way. Mm-hmm. Like Matt Stafford is hard to knock off of his rhythm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
One team that I think has the blitzing and defensive ability in the zone and man coverage to do so is the Philadelphia Eagles. Because of Cooper Kupp's lackluster play over the last, would you say 6 games, 7 games? It's been a while.
Really, it's basically been since Puka came back.
Exactly. I would say that because of that, Puka is highlighted by their defense. If Tyler Higbee doesn't play, then they're really down playmakers. I could see. What's up, man?
We got Rachel in the chat, and she's loving your Eagles hype right now.
That's right, Rach. That's right. Hey, Rach, I want you to join in for the mock draft that's going to happen here in a couple minutes. Take the Eagles. I didn't get to send you a message about it, but we're going to do a draft. If you're free, take the Eagles. It's going to be a great time coming up here.
And then one more thing quickly.
Oh, go ahead.
Adam says there's 2 rookies starting on defense for both teams. I don't know if you guys are familiar with what he's talking about or if he's just...
Yeah. The Rams have 2. They have Verse? Is it
Verse and Fisk.
Verse and Fisk.
Mm-hmm. And then on the opposite side...
They both play really well.
Yeah. The Eagles, I only know I know both of them. It's Quinton Mitchell and
Cooper DeJean.
Cooper DeJean who are playing for the Eagles. So, yeah, that's awesome to see that not only is your defense for both of these teams playing really well, but you are seeing the guys that you took in this year, first-year guys, coming to fruition, playing well. Wish the Steelers had some of that. The only thing we got is undrafted rookie free agent Beanie Bishop doing any good. Everyone else kind of blows, in my opinion, because they're injured or they don't play.
Peyton Wilson had a decent year.
I'll give Peyton Wilson. I
had a decent.
I'm wrong.
Decent rookie year.
He had a decent year, but those are the 2. Yeah. If you look, our first-round pick didn't play. Our second-round pick. And then our third-round pick, a wide receiver, never touched the ball. But
yeah, he was hurt all year.
Yeah. So I think I like what the mention of the rookies in here. So that will be something to take a look at. Do they play like rookies? Do they play like pros in the big-time games? They already got one under the belt, so I think they're going to be okay in that effect. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? But for me, I think the Eagles tromp in this football game. If I was to give a score in this one, I think 27-13 sounds about right. Couple field goals for the Rams, and then 1 touchdown probably to Puka Nacua or Kyron. And then the Eagles, I think that they got this. Ben, how do you feel the score goes? Because I know you got the Rams, but what do you got the score at?
Oh boy, I'm gonna say 24-17 Rams.
24-17 Rams. Rams now.
Me personally, I think they have the better quarterback.
They do.
And
they have the better playoff quarterback for sure.
They have the better quarterback, and I just think this Rams defense will be a little bit too much for Hurts.
Okay.
They just shut down Justin Jefferson.
I will tell you this. I'll tell you this. If Hurts isn't back to 100%, rust knocked off, and at his best gameplay, you will be right.
I think I am right.
I think you will be right if it depends on. I know you think you're right, but I think, and I'm sure Rachel will kind of agree with me. She's a big Eagles fan. If Jalen Hurts doesn't play better than this last game, he is not going to win it for the Eagles. However, I think he does. I think the Eagles win. That's my take on that one. I know Ben hates it. I know he does, but. Well, you have to. It's your team. I'm rooting against them. Not rooting against them, but I don't think they're going to win. The last game. Now, I think you'll agree with me on this. Let me start off on this one by saying I think that the team that I dislike the most and is my rival's team, I think they're going to kill them. I think that the Baltimore Ravens are going to beat the Bills. No problem.
They did in the regular season,
like bad, like 35-10.
Yeah, it was not a good showing for the Buffalo Bills.
Now, a lot of Bills fans told me this: there was a lot of injuries during that game. They didn't have James Cook. They didn't have certain wide receivers and tight ends during that football game. This was prior to them trading for Amari Cooper
Cook being out at any point this year.
I'm going off of what the live shows I was in this morning. So they say that there was defining factors that made the Bills, not 100% for that football game.
They did. They were missing Matt Milano for a good
That
portion
him
of the year.
too. And then this game is also flipped. This is in Buffalo.
Okay, so this is in. Okay,
the first one was in Baltimore. So
okay.
that are the major differences. This game's at 6:30. Are you taking the Bills? It kind of sounds like you have some Bills fever, some Bills mafia running through you. Huh? You're going with the Bills? Or are you going with the Dirty Birds? Who do you got?
I hate this because it's going to be the same matchup we've seen the last couple years, and like in the playoffs, like for AFC title games.
Unless the Texans can pull it out.
Unless the Texans pull it out, but I don't think they will.
Yeah,
the AFC is just so boring.
Who do you got?
Because it's just I'm going to take the Bills because it's the Ravens, and I don't want the Ravens to win. They would be like my third. They would be my third option to get to the Super Bowl from the AFC.
Okay.
Chiefs being last.
Yeah. Texans being first.
Yes.
Yeah, Texans are the number one AFC Bills, team now, yeah.
And then Ravens. But
it's not that it's boring, it's predictable.
It's
right?
Well, predictable to me is boring. So
yeah, I guess so. In this game, Ben, this is going to, in my opinion, define who gets the MVP. Who wins this football game is who gets the MVP because they will be more valuable by beating the other one. I know that Lamar looks better.
You make a very great point.
I just, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That matters a lot. Who is more valuable? Who got you to the AFC Championship game? So I think it goes down between that. Paul, what was that? You got something?
They're not supposed to take that into consideration, right? Though, how's that written? It's
I don't think
about
they
the regular
don't.
Season. Have they voted?
Yeah.
They haven't voted.
They haven't voted yet.
No,
the voting doesn't come till like after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, you would think, Paul, you're correct. In like week 18, as soon as it ends, you would think they would vote because it's a regular season award.
Right.
However, they wait, and now there's going to be this added little bit in there, and this could, for me, I think Lamar has the lead. This could screw Lamar if he loses his football game and not get his three-peat at MVP.
I think I'd be okay with that.
You know what I'm saying?
I'd be okay.
I know.
I think I would be okay with that too.
As Steeler fans, I know we would be okay with it.
I mean, but like,
Lamar has been dominant this year. So,
but,
I mean,
like Paul says, having a fresh face get the award, wouldn't be mad about it, for sure. I could get where he's coming from, even as not a Steeler fan, for sure.
I don't know. I mean, if the guy earns it 3 years in a row, I'm going to say this. He didn't earn it last year. It should have been Josh Allen last year.
Okay. But he does deserve it this year. I mean, his stats are amazing.
He does deserve it this year.
So you got the Bills. Give me the score. I'm going to say it's going to be a high-scoring game for one team. I'm going to go 24-14. It's going to be the Ravens who win the football game.
A high-scoring game.
It's high-scoring for me. I watch Steelers football. Yeah.
Wah, wah.
Yeah. What do you got in score? I know you got Bills.
Oh, man. I'm only doing Bills just to be opposite of you, pretty much. I'll go like 20-17.
2017 field goal kick could define this football game. And do you think that old Tucker misses one in this game?
Yeah.
Okay, that's a hot take, and I kind of like it. I wish I could bet on Justin Tucker missing field goals because I feel like that would be something I would be really interested in. Guys, other news that we have out there, Deontay Johnson was waived again this morning.
Dude, when I heard that on the radio,
so he's off. No more Deontay
hilarious.
Johnson. Dude, Deontay Johnson, 4 teams this season. Deontay, you deserve this.
And I've seen like people posting about, wishing Deontay Johnson we wouldn't have traded him away. What real good would he have done?
Nah, apparently he's not even good enough to make 3 other rosters.
He's not making other rosters, so why would we keep him?
I tell you what, he did look decent on the Panthers before he got traded off of that.
And then I think he's
washed. I don't think he's that good.
Washed. And
I don't think he's that good.
I think he thinks that he's way better than he really is.
100%. I agree with that. Other news, Patriots did sign Mike Vrabel.
Yes.
So that's official. Yep. Another big one out of the coaching world, Mike McCarthy is out in the Cowboys.
Yep, they're not going to sign him again.
He's already got an interview with the Chicago Bears
Not surprising.
prior to the relinquishment. So I think he ends up on the Bears. So you're going to have the head coach up there. Let's watch for that. Another thing I wanted to mention is someone said I say Doug Pederson wrong. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, buddy, I have a Pittsburgh accent and I purposely say things wrong. Also, he mentioned that Doug Pederson is a renowned, great coach. He's not.
I got 2 things to say about that. I think it actually is pronounced Pedersen because I heard it on the TV one day like that, but it looks like Peterson. But the other thing, Adam brought up another good one is, I didn't hear anything about this, but the Cowboys potentially thinking about Deion Sanders' interview.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
I've seen that.
Deion Sanders is a head candidate for the job down there. While we were watching the, I think it was during the Commanders. No, it was during the Rams game. We were talking about this. A lot of viewers are thinking if Deion gets the job, they're going to trade Dak. And
They're
Shedeur.
gonna. I could see that happening. They're gonna. They'll trade Dak, and then they'll probably make some other trades, and then they'll send the house to get that first overall pick to get his son.
They would probably get the second, because let me tell you this. You know who has the second pick?
The Browns.
The Browns.
Yeah.
And you know who needs a quarterback? The Browns.
The Browns.
And you know who traded with the Dallas Cowboys last time they wanted to get rid of a player on a big contract?
The Browns.
The Browns. So Dak Prescott to the Browns incoming. Get ready for it if Deion Sanders gets the job. Ben, did you have any other news or anything that you wanted to talk about before I send us off and get set up for this live mock draft that we're going to do?
25 other teams in the NFL have won a playoff game since the Steelers last won one.
Steelers, come on, man. Guys, at that,
it's so embarrassing.
It is embarrassing.
It's just like,
I want to let you guys know that if you're watching live right now, there's a chance if you're watching on TikTok, you may not be able to do that ever again if you live in the United States. Well, especially because we're never going to be able to broadcast that way. So make sure you go to the link in the bio, smash it, subscribe. Make sure you're still part of the family. Make sure you're still able to hang out with us. Also, make sure you stay tuned in. Make sure you hit the follow button because in a moment, we're about to hop into the live Q&A that we do every single podcast. And instead of doing questions and answers, we're going to hang out with you guys. We're going to put the mock draft up on the table here. We're going to bring you guys in. You are going to take over as a GM of your team, and we're going to draft out the 2025 draft that's coming up here in a couple months. So tune in here in a moment. Smash the follow button. We'll see you guys in a couple seconds. Thanks for tuning in, and peace out.